everybody, and welcome to another Wednesday class here at the lovely Shiatsu Centre in Norwich. I know it takes a little while sometimes for the link to open, so if you want to say hello in the chat, maybe where you're from, and I think we've got a wonderful community of you who are very regular and come very often, and it's lovely to have you all here. So I don't know about you, wherever you are in the world, but in Norwich today, it's pretty cool again. So I thought we could tie in a little bit of gentle warming to help our circulation in the body. Oh, lovely. In Cumbria, Gloucestershire, all sorts of places. Hello. So we're going to carry on our strange link from being in the summer season. We're actually working on our metal element. So we're going to be looking at the large intestine channel again this week. We started it last week on the hand here. We're going to work our way up because it starts at the index finger and it ends either side of the nose, which actually we will come to this point much later, but I think we'll contact it today because this point is really good for hay fever. Tis the season for pollen allergies, so we can get that going today as well. What I would like to do first is, before we do any breathing, any tuning in, I'm going to do a scan with us this morning as well. I'm just going to share a little poll of how are you coping. So I'll pop that up for you. I'm coping well, I'm okay, neutral, I'm stressed, and I'm very stressed. And I'll be honest with you all, this last week or two, I've been stressed too. So I'm actually really glad I'm here this morning, sharing some practice with you. Definitely feel like maybe some of us could do with it, including myself. Well, it's interesting. So the majority of you are neutral. 15% are very stressed. Yay! Coping well and I'm okay. Great. Here is where we're going to get started. So you can come to sitting or standing. Do whatever feels comfortable for you. I'm going to take my glasses off there. So thinking of the metal element. And last week we looked at a meditation on how we grow from things dying or letting go, then things can regrow. And this week I thought we'd look at the part of the element where we're valued, where we value ourselves like a precious metal or a precious gemstone. And I think that's really important thing to do, to value ourselves. So we're going to think a little bit more about that today. So if we come up, I think Dinah's in the chat. So thank you very much, Dinah, for looking after everyone in the chat. So if you want to come and join me by standing, please do. Or you can do this sitting down as well. Right, so getting nice and comfy in your feet or in your pelvis if you're sitting. And then if it feels comfortable, we're just going to close the eyes, or you can have a soft gaze. And we're just going to check in with the breath. Where are we breathing? Personally, because I get a lot of feedback from touch, I like to place one hand on my chest and one hand on the dantian, just below the belly button, the lower belly. And I'm just going to take a few breaths here. So I'll just ask you to join with me to gently check in with our breathing. So we're not forcing the breath in or out. We're just noticing where it falls in the body. And maybe you notice that you feel very different from last week. I'm just noticing, if you were here last week, I had a bit of a block around here, and maybe for you it's in a different place. So just noticing where the breath is, not necessarily changing it. Maybe the quality of it the fullness of it, how deep it goes, how long it is. Lovely. So just noticing, and I'm just going to gently take the hands away. And whilst we're standing or sitting, we're just going to do a body scan. So I'm going to use my arm to scan through the body from the head down. You don't have to do this at all. You can have the arms relaxed by your side or resting on your belly. So just gently going to tune in. So we're going to start actually at the space above the head. So in our Chong Mai, or our line where we have our chakras, there's one at the top, our soul star chakra above the head. So this space here, we're tuning into what this feels like. Oh, mine feels quite full. So yes, this is a point where if you want some paper, please do. I've decided not to do it today. I don't think I want to look at my energetic body this morning. I'm just going to feel it. So feeling the space above the head, noticing what that feels like. You could do it without your arm there. Maybe you're not sure, and that's okay. And then we're going to scan down to the top of the head, on the crown of the head, noticing what that feels like. Tuning into it. Does it feel hot or cold? Is it full or empty? Is it busy or quiet? And we're going to start to scan down the head, the skull, front, side, back, the whole sphere of it, down the sides and backs of the head to the face. We can tune in a little bit to how our brain's feeling. Then down the ears, eyes, nose, mouth, jaw, and mouth inside as well. All the sinuses in the head, back of the occipital point, ridge at the back of the skull where we meet the neck. Just noticing what's going on and how it feels. Then we're going to scan down into the throat. So scanning down, throat, spine, neck, back of the neck as well. Noticing what's going on there. Our voice box maybe, noticing how we communicate and talk. Easy breath, not necessarily changing anything, we're just noticing. And we're going to scan down onto the upper shoulders, the shoulder girdle, the collarbone and the scapula at the back, and the upper part of the rib cage. So our first rib is just under the collarbone. Wonderful, big, juicy rib cage we've got. But first we're going to scan down the arms, so out of the shoulders, checking the shoulder joints, how they feel, down the upper arms, into the elbows, forearms, wrists, noticing the flesh, the muscles, the blood, the joints, the bones, into the hands, all the way to the fingertips, noticing how they feel. Then we're going to come back to where we left off at the top of the ribs, including at the back. So I'll turn sideways. So we're just going to scan down from the rib cage, thinking of the lungs, the heart, all the intercostal spaces and muscles and tendons in the rib cage. Not forgetting the spine from where we left off at the base of the neck. Scanning down the thoracic into where the diaphragm meets the ribs. Just noticing what's going on, how it feels here. Then continuing to scan down the spine into the last floating ribs at the bottom, into the belly and all the organs in our torso, down into the guts, all the blood, down into the lower spine, our lumbar, into the sacrum, and thinking of the whole pelvic bowl, this wonderful bony bowl that we have that's covered in beautiful muscles, holding a holding space, comforting space. We're just noticing how that feels. Easy breath. You can always move and rearrange. You don't have to stand static or sit really still. I'm going to scan down the legs, these beautiful, huge femur bones that we've got. Maybe in the hip sockets, front, side, backs of the legs, inner thighs, noticing the muscles and the flesh, down into the knees, the knee joints, that beautiful floating patella. And then scanning down the lower leg into the bones, the muscles, our beautiful tendons that run all the way down into the feet. I'm just going to scan into the ankles and noticing our feet as well, all these tiny bones that we've got in the feet, all the way to the tips of the toes. Lovely. Just going to turn back round again. And then we're just going to scan, like we did at the top, we're going to go further, deeper into the ground, connecting in with our earth star chakra. We've got the soul star chakra here, and then the earth one. Thinking of like in Qi Gong and our energy practices that we're doing in Shiatsu and other things, that we're tuning into the heavens and the earth. So we're going deep underneath our feet. Even if we're sitting, connect deep in under the ground beneath you. So if you're like me and you're a few floors up, we can think about the space below us as well. And thinking about the earth that supports us and nourishes us. Lovely. And then just allowing all those feelings, connections, noticing images or tightness or where the breath is in the body. We're just going to gently let those ebb away. So we're just sitting or standing. Great. So we're going to come up to standing if you haven't already. I think everybody's great in the chat. Hello if you've just come. And apologies for my hair. I really don't know what it's doing this morning, but it's definitely got some wings going on. So lung, large intestine, we can start to get flying this morning. So if we come up to standing, if you were sitting, you can do these sitting down as well. It's already 1:15. I don't know where the time's going. So we're just going to gently walk the feet in the ground, thinking of that earth first. I thought we could connect in with our earth. Yes, strange, we're doing the metal element, but sometimes it's nice to be grounded so we can really breathe in the good stuff. Large intestine, we can let the stuff go that we don't need. That's on a physical, emotional, spiritual and mental level. So padding the feet into the ground, soft ankles, knees. I'm going to just a little wiggle and shake about, and I just want you to explore a little bit what kind of wiggling you want to do this morning, thinking about arms, shoulders, maybe hips, feet. Doesn't matter what it looks like. I'm going to chuck those inhibitions out the window. Allowing the ribs maybe to join in, and not forgetting the head and neck as well. Just making a little bit of space around the back of the jaw, sides of the jaw, into the occipital point around the back. Gentle, gentle wiggling and shaking, if that feels good. And you might be gently swaying, you might not be going as wiggly as me, it's fine. Lovely. All right. And what we're going to do is find the edge of ourselves. We're going to find where we're at physically, and we're going to enjoy where we're at as well. Well, that's a bit forceful. Maybe you won't enjoy it. Totally up to you this morning. So we're going to rub the hands together, create some Qi and energy. So this quality of the metal element is about our borders and our boundaries, and it's a connection in with the skin, and also our value, how we value ourselves. I'm going to read a little bit right at the very end about the metal element and how we value ourselves. So rubbing the hands together, and then we're just going to place them round the top of the forehead, just gently pressing in, feeling the edges, the borders and boundaries of ourselves, coming down the sides of the face, gently pressing maybe around the eyes. Easy breath. Oh, yeah. Gently waking up in my case. Gently pressing around the cheeks, the chin, around the ears, giving them a little bit of a squeeze, finding the edges of them, sides of the head, back of the skull, and then maybe sides and back of the neck. Even if you swap the hand over and hold the opposite elbow to reach, doesn't matter what it looks like. And then very, very, very gently on the front of the throat, just very gently touching so you know where this throat and voice box is. It's where we communicate. So it's really important that we know where it is. We say hello to our voice, and then pressing onto the chest, front of the chest and shoulders. And then we're going to extend down one arm and give the arms a good old squeeze and say hello to our shoulders and arms and into the elbow joint, a place that we're going to find a little bit later in our point of the week, all the way down the forearms, into the wrists, into the hands, saying hello to each finger. You know, they do so much for us. In fact, our whole body does so much for us. So let's thank it and value it. And then we'll do the same with the other arm, squeezing around the shoulder, down the upper arm, around the elbow joint, saying hello to this lovely elbow joint, down into the forearms, into the wrists. So gently pressing, excuse me, every time large intestine, I yawn my head off, so apologies for my yawning as I'm talking. So down the hands, saying hello to each finger, finding the edges of ourselves to the thumb, and then we're going to come back up to the front of the chest again, gently pressing either side of our pectoral muscles, down the sides of the ribs or the sternum at the front, gently pressing the lower ribs. You might want to take the hands round the side or maybe round to the back, allowing a little bit of pressure in here. Finding the edge of your back. If there's someone at home that can press the bit that we can't get to ourselves, the middle of the back where the scapula are, give that a little press on one another. Or maybe you've got a cat that can do it for you. So pressing down gently, finding the edge of ourselves at the back, the sacrum, the glutes. Yes, bums are important too. Don't be shy. Value that butt, because it's very useful. Round into the sides of the hips. We're going to come back round to the belly, giving it a nice press, or you might want to rub it, circling the belly and all those beautiful organs we've got inside here. And then we're going to go down the legs. So if it's uncomfortable to get to the feet, you might want to place one foot on a chair and work your way down the leg like this, or you might want to do both at the same time, front and then back. I'm going to work one leg then the other. I'm going to soften in the hips, and I'm going to work front, side and back, finding the borders, the boundaries, the edges of myself. Down the leg, not forgetting our lovely knee joints, into the ankles, and finding the feet if we can get to them. So working as far as is comfortable. Finding the toes, maybe giving each toe a bit of a squeeze. Easy head and neck as we're gently hanging over. And then swapping to the other leg, unless you're doing both at the same time. So we're finding the edge of ourselves, just gently pressing into the knees, front and back and side, and then down the lower leg, into the ankle, into the foot, and then the same thing, maybe finding even on the top, just gently pressing the toes and getting in underneath because that feels really good. Super, we found the edge of ourselves. And then if you're hanging over, we're just going to soften the knees and uncurl gently, relaxing the arms and the jaw. Wonderful. And then I like to do this on somebody else. I'm going to do this for you all as a group, and you can waft your hands around with me. We're going to clean our energetic egg. I think you can all see me here. So the space above the head and below the feet, we're going to get in contact with that, the space all around us, even behind and in front of us. So we're going to imagine that we're clearing and cleaning our wonderful space around us in our aura, in our energetic egg. I always like to think of like quartz, sparkly things, maybe mother of pearl, this kind of shiny, valued, gorgeous, precious stone or gem or metal. So we're going to start by cleaning this with our hands. So we're going to send this beautiful energy out to find the edges. I don't know, I think mine's quite high today. Maybe yours is a little lower, and that's totally fine. We're just gently cleaning. Yeah, and I'll think of this for all of you as well. So we're cleaning all of our energetic eggs. You can start to do it to one side and the other. Cleaning down. This doesn't mean we're going down in our egg. The more space and clean, sparkly feeling that we've got, the more we can grow. Yeah, that whole thing of when a tree drops its leaves and makes compost, so things go down for new things to grow. So we're going to do this in our energetic egg, clearing space in front of us. You can move your feet, don't be shy to move, cleaning behind us, going down, thinking of down and around and behind us, down to the feet, even though not touching the feet, using the fingertips to clean around the feet and the ankles, down below the feet. So we're using our imagination. So that lovely egg aura that we've got around us, just using your imagination to clean underneath, making everything sparkly, like a beautiful mother of pearl, or a quartz, maybe it's a clear quartz or a rose quartz. I always imagine this sparkly sea and mother of pearl, and drenched in this lovely sunlight. So wherever it is above the clouds today in Norwich, so cleaning our energetic egg. I'm just going to do all round from the top all the way into the bottom. Lovely. Underneath our feet. And then we're going to start to gather in this lovely clean energy that we've got. I'll turn sideways. So we're drawing around from the back of ourselves into the front here. So not touching ourselves, just allowing that lovely, cleaning, sparkly, valued energy into the center of ourselves. So we've cleaned our auric egg. So just go with it, even if you're wondering, what the hell is she talking about? Use your imagination. It's wonderful, drawing in that lovely quality into the center. Sparkly, fresh feeling. My sinuses are feeling much clearer actually, all the way into our dantian. And then this is where we can allow fingertips just to gently touch the dantian, just below the belly button. Lovely, allowing that beautiful energy to pour into the center of us. So we can really value ourselves and appreciate ourselves. I know it's not always the easiest thing to do. In fact, I definitely find it hard. So it's always good to tune into this beautiful quality and to appreciate ourselves. Wonderful. You might just want to rub the belly a little bit. So I think everyone's doing all right in the chat. I thought we'd try something completely different. Yes, wonderful. You're all great. Super. Thank you, Dinah, for chatting and sorting out everyone in the chat if they've got any questions. So just to help stimulate the lung and large intestine channel a little bit more, now we're feeling a little bit clearer, I thought we should do some really nice swings with the arms, our Qi Gong movement to help open up the chest. So I'll turn slightly sideways, rearrange the feet, give them a shake out if you need to. We're going to have a bit more of a shake out after this. And we're going to have easy knees, easy ankles. And we're going to draw the arms up to shoulder height and then release them. Drawing the hands up to shoulder height and releasing. This is where we can allow a little double bounce in the knees. You can do this sitting as well. So we're going to draw the arms up and release. And you can go at your own rhythm and pace, allowing the pelvis just to gently release down to the ground. So we're letting our bodies use gravity. We don't have to really work the legs. We're just allowing our knees to gently soften and the pelvis is bouncing. Opening up this wonderful chest area. Yeah, my sinuses are much clearer already, which is great. You can wiggle the fingers a little bit if that feels good. Wonderful. So as Dinah says, when she first taught me this years ago, I remember she went, imagine you're cross-country skiing. Not that I've done that at all, but we can imagine maybe we're up a beautiful mountain piece in the snow, but there's bright sunshine and this is wonderful, bright, white light, thinking about our metal element, something shiny and bright and reflective. So we're skiing down a mountain with ease. Wonderful, and there's fresh mountain air. Lovely. Easing in the shoulders, not forcing anything. And then from here, I'm going to turn to the front so you can see. We're going to start to cross the arms. So we're going to go from cross-country skiing. We're crossing the arms at the top. Maybe a little bit of bell ringing, yeah. Singing out those bells, allowing a clear, crisp sound. Wonderful, easy breath. Making sure we're still breathing is definitely fundamental in our bodies and our spirit. Lovely. Crossing the arms, so continuing to cross the arms over. So starting to cross at the elbows, making sure you've got plenty of room around you. And then allowing the arms to cross over you. So giving yourselves just a little bit of a hug, a floppy hug here. Opening up the shoulders and the arms at the front. Of course, if this is uncomfortable, keep the arms much more further by the side of the body. So not coming all the way back, as you can see. Opening my shoulders out. And the hands are coming, opening the thumb and index finger. Our lung and large intestine. Wonderful. Crossing the elbows again. So we've got to undo what we've just done. Undoing the doing. One of my favourite things to do. Crossing the arms again. So from our self-hug, we're coming back to bell ringing. Opening up the chest and the armpits a little bit more. Wonderful. And then the hands are going to separate. And we're going to come back to our cross-country skiing. Wonderful. Hope you're feeling a lot warmer. All that mountain fresh air flooding into your lungs, even if you're in the flat plains of Norwich. So just imagining that we're skiing down with ease on this beautiful mountain, white snow, bright sunshine and fresh air. And then gently releasing the knees and the bounce, allowing the arms to swing by the side. Really letting that movement dissipate. Gently ebbing away. It's starting to feel much cleaner and clearer. Great. So we've opened up these wonderful channels, the lung from here to the thumb, and the large intestine from the index finger all the way up to either side of the nose. So before we come to finding point of the week and to do some work on the head and the feet, I wanted to do a wonderful movement called the Makaho, which opens up all the channels, but particularly just for today, going to look at the lung and large intestine channel. And I wanted to show it also on the chair because, a lot of the time we say, just fold over the legs. And actually, even some mornings or some days, I don't fancy doing that. So I'm going to demonstrate on the chair as well. So I'll show it once, so you can join in or watch whatever feels comfortable. We're doing great, got plenty of time. So easy feet, spreading the feet in the ground. We're going to soften the ankles and knees a little bit, releasing the front of the hips. And then we're going to float the arms up and take a nice big breath in. Maybe taking a yawn. And then we're going to gently fold over the front of the body to wherever feels comfortable. And then we're going to take the hands to the back of the sacrum, either interlacing the thumbs together, making an eagle, or interlacing the fingers and making a little bit, I'll come back up again, our James Bond kind of movement, but with one finger, index finger and thumb. So we can do this on the back as well. So I'll come back over here. And then if it feels comfortable, we can gently raise the arms off the pelvis. If that feels okay on the shoulders, checking the shoulders dropped or we're rolling them open. That might be quite a tough movement. So releasing the arms and shoulders back to the sacrum, undoing the hands, softening the knees and uncurling the same way that we went down. I'll talk us through that, okay, a couple of times in your own time as well. We can also do it on the chair. I'll demonstrate it on the chair whilst I talk us through it. So breathing in, feet nice and spread in the ground, soft joints. Breathing in, finding the edges of ourselves, yawning a little bit, having a bit of a wiggle, excuse me, and then breathing out. This is where we can take a hold of the chair, if that feels comfortable. You can stay up on your hands, or if it feels okay, you can start to soften onto the forearms and releasing the head and the neck. So if we're over the legs without the chair, the arms are going to sweep up behind and onto the sacrum, interlacing the fingers and pointing, or with the thumbs interlaced. And then when we breathe in, we might want to lift the arms off, but only if that feels okay. Staying there for a breath or two. If we're on the chair, we're just going to take an arm out to the side, opening like a book, opening the chest, and then coming back again, and then we'll do the same the other side. You can do it further up, breathing in, opening that chest, and then breathing out, opening the arms to the side, and breathing out. And again, the other side, and breathing out. So people on the chair, you keep doing that for one or two more moves, opening the chest and shoulder out, index finger and thumb that we're thinking about. Everybody else who's hanging over, release the hands if you've not done so already in the arms, softening the knees and gently uncurling. And the same for people who are on the chair, bringing the hands back onto the front of the seat, softening the knees and uncurling. Allow the arms to float up and then undo again. Whee! So choose what's best for you. So when we're on the chair, all we're going to do is open up the sides of the chest using the arms, index finger and thumb opening, okay? So choosing what feels good for you, all right? I'm going to do once on the chair and once off the chair with you. Rest when you want to, and then we'll check in and see how we're doing. So breathing in, floating the arms up, taking a yawn. Ooh, lovely. And then breathing out, folding over the legs nice and gently. If you're not on the chair, allowing the hands to find the sacrum, crossing the thumbs or the index fingers pointing out. And then we're going to breathe in. If you're on the chair, we're opening the arms out to the side, breathing out, taking a nice in breath in. We're still soft in the knees and the hips and ankles. Alternating the arms. Everybody else who's hanging over the legs, we're going to gently lift the hands off the sacrum if that feels okay. If not, keeping them on the back of the sacrum there. Taking an easy breath in and then breathing out. Everybody who's using the chair, opening on this last side, We're going to release the hands if they're on the sacrum, or finding the chair seat again, softening the knees and then uncurling really gently, opening the front of the body again. And undoing the arms. So I'm just going to slide that out of the way. Just going to do once more if that feels okay. I'm going to do it without the chair this time. So breathing in. People on the chair, you can stay doing that or resting whenever you want to. Breathing out, folding over, softening in the legs. If it feels okay, you can start to lengthen the legs, but if there's any pulling, just soften in the knees again. Interlacing the fingers or the thumbs, breathing in, opening, lifting the arms up towards the sky, but not forcing anything. Checking in with the shoulders, seeing how that feels. If that's really uncomfortable, bring the hands back to the sacrum. Breathing out, bringing the hands back to the sacrum, softening the knees. Same if you're on the chair, bring the hands back onto the chair seat and then gently uncurling. Opening the arms again. And then having a little bit of a shake out with the legs. Wonderful. Hopefully everyone's doing all right. It's quite a strong one. Really allows the breath and that stale oxygen to be released. I always find that one really opens up. Today's clearing the sinuses clearly for me. Maybe it is for you as well. Giving a little shake in the torso and the arms. Lovely. I'm just going to check in with the chat and we're going to come and find our feet. Oh yes, having a good old laugh. That sounds great, everyone in the chat. So what we're going to do first is we're going to come to sitting, and you might want to be on the chair or on the ground. So easy hips wherever you're at. And what we're going to do before we work our feet is work round the face. Okay, so I'm just demonstrating here, but I'm going to come a little bit closer so you can see. Yes, that's really cleared out. So if anyone's having hay fever issues, we're going to tune into the end of large intestine. It's not the point of the week, but I feel it's very beneficial because I've been hearing a lot of sneezes around Norwich this morning, all this pollen floating around. So we'll have a tune into that to help with hay fever. So we're just going to press round the head again. I know we've done it already, finding the edge of ourselves into the face. And then since we're round nearer the top part of the forehead, we're going to tune into the bladder first. So gently, either using index fingers or thumbs. So from the corner of the eye, we're going to come up and find our bladder number 2 at the beginning of our eyebrows. And then gently, I'll show from the side, gently allowing just a little bit of head weight in here, not forcing anything, just gentle pressure. This helps our eyes, so we're going to help all the places on our face to gently open up and release. Great. And then if it feels all right, we're just going to squeeze or hold top and bottom of the eyebrows and our eye socket just at the top there. And we're going to come all the way around to the end of our eyebrow into the triple heater. I'm just going to tune in here. This tunes into the little bit outer edge of ourselves as well, our defensive Qi and our immune system, our ready breath flow. So just tuning in here, helping to release any kind of turbulent feeling or windy stuff. And then we're going to come down either side of the eyes here into our gallbladder. This one I much prefer to circle round with pressure either side of the temples. If circling doesn't feel good, you could just gently tap either side of the eyes here. I like to circle. Great. Releasing the sides of the eyes, particularly if we've been working a lot on the screen. This one's really good to help benefit the eyes. And then from here, if you're tapping already, it's going to continue tapping round underneath the eyes very gently, not forcefully here, very gently, easy wrists coming down to stomach, tapping down till it runs from the eyes. We see food and we want to eat it. So down the front of the face, Great. And then we're going to find the end of our channel, and we'll come to our point of the week in a little moment. So we're going to find either side of the nose. I mean, it's quite easy to find. I've got these very large laughter lines here. So this is where the large intestine channel ends, where the meeting of our laughter line here comes in at the nose. And it's a wonderful point. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dinah, but it should be called welcome fragrance. So we're going to breathe in that good stuff. And it's very good for helping hay fever. And we want to go in towards the nose. So we're not pressing upwards, we're pressing in so we can feel the tops of the teeth here. So we're just sending some nice Qi and energy, maybe thinking we're on the mountains again, in the snow and the bright fresh air. And releasing with the breath, breathing in again. And then releasing. It's a good one for sinuses and hay fever. Wonderful. One more in breath here. And then releasing. Wonderful. So just giving the face a little bit of a wipe. And then gently brushing down, allowing the lymphatic system to gently drain with a gentle brushing down the front of the throat from the jaw. That's all right, Jane. You're quite correct. You can do one and then the other. You don't have to do both at the same time. Thank you for that. It might be quite intense, both at the same time. So if you want to do one, just stick to one at a time and then swapping to the other side. Great. So moving down onto the chest. All right. So I'm going to move back to the chair. We're going to find our feet before coming to point of the week. So coming back again to comfy place if you've got a little bit closer to the screen. So we've worked these lovely points around the head, bladder, triple-heater, gallbladder, stomach, and then we've come to our large intestine, the end of the channel. Let's do our feet and then we'll come to our wonderful elbows and our point of the week. So taking a hold of a foot or an ankle. If you've got someone at home that wants to squeeze your feet for you, tell them it's totally my fault and that they have to do it. If we're on our own. So you can also use a tennis ball or a spiky ball or one of those washing machine balls and roll it underneath the foot if getting to the foot is a bit uncomfortable. So we're going to rub the hands together and make some Qi again. And then just to begin with, we're going to find again the borders of ourselves. So squeezing round the foot, seeing the shape of it like it's clay. We're warming it up before we make a beautiful sculpture into the heel, maybe around the edge, and then underneath the toes where they attach. So I'll just lift my foot up. So you might want to trace around this edge here. For those of you who know, yes, it's the Masanaga extension into the large intestine points around here. But that's okay, we don't need to worry about that. Borders and edges of ourselves. Wonderful. Giving the whole foot a nice squeeze. You might start to see what movement there is in the foot, even if it's just a tiny wiggle forward and back. The foot also twists from side to side, flexing and pointing, giving a shake. So seeing what movement there is in the foot and ankle today. And then we're going to work down each toe, I should say, giving each toe a nice squeeze. Taking your time, going down each toe, saying hello, even to that little one right at the end. Lovely. And then we're going to find our lovely kidney one underneath the ball of the foot, in between the second and third metatarsal. I'll lift my foot up, but you can definitely keep yours resting. You might want to use the thumbs into this point, or if that's sensitive, holding the point and thinking about nourishing this beautiful point that connects us to the earth. So gently pressing in here. You can use fingertips in here if that feels good. Easy breath. Wonderful. Let's move to our other foot so we can even ourselves out. Releasing the foot on the floor. Might want to give that a shake. We'll move to the other foot. So giving a nice squeeze, waking and warming that clay up, finding the borders. Same thing again, you might want to go around the edge, the little toe edge, all the way to underneath the toes here. So giving a press. You can see lots of things pinging up in the chat, but can't quite see from here. I think Diana's definitely on it. So into the soles of the feet, giving a nice squeeze. And then seeing what movement there is in this other foot. Maybe flexing, pointing, allowing the foot to wiggle from side to side, or on its diagonal axis this way. That helps us to walk over bumpy ground. Beautiful movement of our feet. Even if it's just a little movement, we can stick with that as well. Then we're going to take a hold of each toe and give them a squeeze all the way down, checking in with shoulders so they're not creeping in like mine were, because I'm getting too interested in my feet. Making sure the shoulders are easy, going down each toe, saying hello. Wonderful, all the way to the little toe. And then the same thing again, we're going to find that lovely kidney one in between the metatarsal of the second and third toe, underneath the ball of the foot, using the fingertips, if that feels good, or using the thumb so the leg can relax in your arms as well. Oh, sending some lovely breath in there. Great. Wonderful. And then releasing that foot, giving the leg a little shake. Unless you're sitting on the floor, you can lengthen the legs on the floor and give them a wiggle. I'm going to come a little bit closer, and I'm going to put up a slide of point of the week. How's everybody doing? Oh, brilliant. What did Dinah put? I heard on the radio yesterday that our two nostrils smell slightly differently. It's the combination of them that gives us full fragrance. Well, I never. That sounds marvellous. It's kind of like our ears. They hear different sounds. I think the left one is set slightly lower on your head so you hear bass notes. That's very interesting. Anyway, I will share the slides with us. And here we are on our large intestine channel. Last week we worked large intestine 4, and now we're continuing up the arm to find our beautiful elbow joints that do a lot of work for us. Sometimes we forget about our elbows a little bit, and it's got this beautiful name, pull by the bend or crooked pull. I'm going to read a little bit from this book about the functions and what this point is all about on the large intestine channel. Don't worry, it's not contraindicated, so most people can press this one and do it gently if it's sensitive. So crooked pull, or the pull by the bend, so it clears heat, it helps digestive issues, it helps problems in the head like with the throat, the eyes and toothache, and obviously it helps the elbow and the upper arm on a local level. It's a sea and earth point for the large intestine channel, with the elbow flexed, located in the depression at the lateral end of the transverse cubital crease. So right at the end of your elbows, you can see on this picture here, you want to fold up the arm, and on the outside edge of that crease, elbow crease, you've got your large intestine 11. Large intestine 10 is further down on the forearm, but we're going for our pool in the bend. This is the image for it because I think it's so beautiful. I wanted to read it to you. Crooked, like a bend in the river, bend at our elbow, refers to this point's location. So like the sea points in our body, the pool refers to the flow of Qi as it slows down and spreads out. Yummy. I love that. I love that there's points in the body that help us to kind of slow it down, maybe take a moment to reflect, and then spreading out our energy again. So I'm going to stop sharing this lovely slide so you can see me again. And we're just going to tune into this point. So I'll come up a little bit so you can see, but you can stay sitting and resting. So we're going to fold up the elbow and find the edge of our elbow crease. I like to use a thumb. You can use an index finger if that's easier, since that's where the channel begins. And we're just going to take a gentle press in. Might want to use the breath, breathing in, breathing out, knowing that that point is a pool area for us to kind of rest, reflect, and spread the energy out. Slows us down. Don't know about you, but the last few weeks have been quite hectic. So this is a lovely point and a lovely place in our Wednesday class where we can just slow it down. Easy breath. Thank you, Dinah. It is the most cooling point in the body. So if we're getting a little hot-headed, we can use this one here. So if our mind's quite full or all sorts going on up here when we tuned in earlier, just checking in with the elbow, cooling the body. Wonderful. Let's move to the other side. So allowing the arm to fold up. We want the outer point of that crease on the elbow. I like to use my index finger. No, I think I'm going to use thumb on this side this time. But you might prefer index finger in there. I'm just going to gently breathe in. And then breathing out. Super. Breathing in. This point feels really good. I think I'm glad I came to do this class with you all this morning. Breathing in and then breathing out, releasing. Wonderful. So that's a beautiful, beautiful point in the week. So releasing the arms. And then how is it, even if we're sitting, I'm going to come back onto the chair. I can do this sitting on the floor. How is it just to lift the arms, floating them up? It doesn't matter, soft elbows, soft wrists, what they look like. Taking a yawn in and then releasing the arms again. Breathing in, opening up the channel of the lung and large intestine, releasing. Let's do one more here, breathing in. Lovely, and then breathing out. Super. So for us to close the class, I can't believe the hour's running so quickly past. So you can stay sitting if that feels comfortable. If you want to come and lie down, please do. We're going to tune into our breath again, and then going to read a little bit for us to really rest and slow down, and taking a moment again to value ourselves, to notice where we're at, and to enjoy our Wednesday, the middle of the week, so we can continue this lovely feeling of valuing ourselves and taking a moment to pause for the rest of the week. So I'm just going to get my little book ready. And if you want to stay sitting, please do. We're going to get nice and comfortable. You might want to place the hands on the belly. If you want to join me, I'm going to lie on the floor with my feet in contact with the floor and the knees up. And I'll turn slightly this way because I'm going to widen the stance of the feet and then allow the knees to drop in. So we're opening up kind of this edge of the legs here and then into the sacrum a little bit. If this gets quite tight, undo the knees and then bring the feet back into an easy supine rest. So you're doing whatever feels comfortable for you. Yeah. Sitting as well. So allowing the knees to drop and the feet a little bit wider. You can have the hands, arms resting by the side or on the belly. So before I start reading, and anytime you want to move, please do. You might want to have the legs out long. So just checking in with the breath again, like we did at the start. Maybe it's become calmer and smoother. Thinking of this beautiful clear pool in a river, on a bend, on a crook, and the sun's shining on the top of the water, reflecting beautifully on a warm summer's day. The water's clear and gently moving, so it's a point where the water can take its time to slow down. Just checking in where the breath is, not necessarily changing anything, just seeing if it's comfortable. Has it changed from an hour ago? Lovely. And then we can have an easy, natural breath. You can keep the hands on the belly if that feels okay, or releasing the hands. If you've got the knees together, anytime you want to, bring them apart and bring the feet back into a parallel for easing the sacrum and lower back. So doing whatever feels comfortable. And as we're resting here, you might want to close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or sitting on the ground. I'm just going to come up and read a little bit from this beautiful book that Carola Bedford-Cook wrote for her Shiatsu learning. It's about the metal element. We've got beautiful 5 minutes to tune in and to relax. I always like that with large intestine and the metal element. It's always about reflecting, taking a moment to stop and appreciate yourself and things. So I'm just going to read. You can let these words waft over you. So when our metal energy is healthy, we feel that we are individuals in a situation of exchange with the universe. Not only do we feel our own value, but we know instinctively that we are connected to everything of value outside of our own boundaries. We have self-worth and the capacity to change whilst remaining in harmony with our environment. That's wonderful. Really a nugget, golden nugget for us to take with us today. So the quality or worth or whatever we most prize is in here, in abundance as well as out there. And we are secure in our ability to connect with it. So I want to read that little bit in the middle as you have an easy breath, allowing the spine to be gentle. The edges of ourselves, we know where we are, but we can also gently expand, slowing down. So we have self-worth and the capacity to change whilst remaining in harmony with our environment. Oh, I love that. Beautiful. So you can stay lying on the floor. You might want to keep the eyes closed, or maybe you're sitting. I'm just going to start to wiggle fingers and toes. I'm going to take a nice in-breath. You might want to stretch the arms out. Or take a yawn. Maybe a wiggle on the floor or as we're sitting. If you are lying down, you can keep your eyes closed, but gently coming up to sitting again. So there's no rush. Take your time. Unless you want to stay there, and you're most welcome to. And then we're just going to calm and find a comfy place to sit. Taking that moment to settle and appreciate yourself. And I can feel the whole group and appreciate you all here turning up this morning. So I appreciate you all, and I appreciate being here with you all. And I'm just going to share one little poll just to round us off for our 11 o'clock. We're almost there. I'm going to share, how do you feel now? Do you feel more balanced, about the same, or less balanced? And any answer is completely fine. It's where you're at. fresh and clean and sparkly, ready for the rest of our week. Wonderful. I'm going to come back to the chat. It seems like everybody's either about the same or feeling much more balanced. Thank you very much. Oh yes, thanks Dinah for that amazing amount of knowledge in the chat. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Anytime you want to clear out your auric egg, you can give that a clean each morning. Maybe when you've got the kettle on and you're making your cup of tea first thing. I'm going to give you a heart in the chat, and have a lovely week. I don't know which member of the team it is next week, but it won't be me. So I'll see you in a few weeks' time. Thank you again, everyone, and I'll close this lovely session down. Bye-bye.